Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. I'm Mimansa Verma, and today was the day when Canara Bank released its earnings, quarterly Q4 earnings, wherein the bank reported an 18.3% rise in its standalone net profit to rupees 3,757 crore. Now, this was on account of increased net interest income or core income and a drawdown in provisions. On a sequential basis, the net profit of the bank grew 2.7%. I'm in conversation with Mr. K. Satyanarayana Raju, who is the MD and CEO of Canara Bank, to discuss the quarterly numbers and break down the numbers to discuss. Welcome, sir, and thank you for taking out time to speak with us. So my first question is about the provisions, because of which largely why the net profit has risen so much. The provisions have declined 20% year on year. However, on the sequential basis, the provisions increased by 30.7%. Now, what could be the reason for the sequential rise in provisions, sir?
The sequential rise in provisions is generally in the December quarter. You know that we have provided for our staff cost to meet that requirement of the bipartite settlement. We have provided almost 700 crores in the operating expenses, staff cost. But that's why we could not provide additionally. Generally, whenever we have comfort in our balance sheet, we provide additionally to make it a future-ready balance sheet. We do additional provisioning beyond the requirement of the regulator. When we got a comfort in the current quarter, so we, instead of 750, we required to provide only 350 crores in the staff cost to complete that wage revision payments. And the remaining, whatever excess we got it, we have provided as an additional cushion in meeting the requirements of beyond the regulator requirements in one or two big accounts, so that in future any eventuality that can be used for the matching that requirement. That is the purpose. Otherwise, nothing. There are no concerns in the slippages, and there are no concerns in the stress or anything. Let me clarify to you that our SMA 012 is sequentially as well as year on year it has come down. The sequentially, if you see that it has come down from 0.80 to 0.69%. Even year on year, if you see that it has come down from 0.76 to 0.69. You can find out even each SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2, there is a reduction both in the accounts and the amount. That is helping, that is giving a confidence for us, and the next year, the current 4 quarters, we will continue that what the last year we maintained that our slippages will be less than our recovery and upgradation. If you see that the March month also, our recovery and upgradation total together it is 3,680 crores, whereas the slippages are only 3,400 crores. And we continue to do every quarter like that. When we have a cushion in our balance sheet in the bottom line, we want to provide additionally. So that additional provisions, so it will be useful for the future. Any unexpected events are there that will take care of that. This quarter also we have provided 300 crores additionally in certain NPA accounts where it is beyond the requirement of the regulator.
Okay. So 300 crores is what you have set aside for some particular large accounts, is it? If you could give us a sense of which sector accounts are these accounts are from?
See, actually last year only one big account has slipped to NPA. We provided in that account, but sharing the name of the borrower is not correct from my side.
Okay, no problem.
But it's only one account it is slipped, and that account only we made that additional provision.
Okay, no problem, sir. So your credit growth and deposit growth both has risen 11% year on year in Q4, which is more than the guidance that you had provided in the last quarter. And on the media briefing call as well, after the results, you had said that you are conservative in the guidance that you give for the next quarter. Is there any specific reason for that, and what is your growth targets for this year?
You see that historically last 3-4 years, this bank follows the same board on the board along with the top management. Then when we express to the guidance, we give little conservatively the guidance, but we don't want to miss that guidance when we give something. We want to be as realistic as possible, but our performance always, if you see that we are outperforming our guidelines. The last year also we are given guidance at 10%, though we are rejigging our corporate portfolio with replacing with low cost or low yielding advances with high yielding advances. Even then we could show 11.34% credit growth. This year also, why we are given the conservatively, it is not that we are expecting some slump in the credit demand or thing. We know that the credit demand is there, and we are the banker. We are getting it constant proposals, especially even in the corporate also. You see that our RAM has grown at 13.54%, and we are focusing more on the RAM because we have given our guidelines also that we want to reach 58% RAM so that our corporate will reduce it to 42%. And last year it has increased from 55 to 56%. So there where we focus, there the growth is there around 14%. So where we want intentionally, we want to come down because our you know that our CASA is comparatively other banks among the peer banks, our CASA is low. So we have to manage our NIMs. Our portfolio, we have to rejig it properly. We cannot afford to lend at a cheaper cost just for the sake of top line. So we are very calculative on that mind. That's why that the corporate is a little bit slow growth. We have shown that it is only 8.64%. But next year also, again, we are telling that demand is there because our TAT is our selling point. Double digit growth we will see in the corporate also, and minimum 12% credit growth will be there, though we are given at 10%.
Okay. So strategy going forward will be more like the lower rate loans will be curbed and you'll be charging more interest for the new customers, is it?
Because, madam, actually, if you see that the last 6 months, the incremental deposit cost is very high. Especially in the March also, it has reached to the peak. Though our cost of deposit is at 5.5, if you see that incremental deposit, whatever we are garnering it at the last 6 months, it's very high cost. It's almost 6.75 to 7%. That is the range. At that range, raising the loans and maintaining the existing lending of 60-70,000 crores at a 6.9 to 7.15% is not at all feasible for us. But at the same time, we cannot replenish entire 70,000 crores with high yielding advances. So we have to see the quality of the advances also. That's why gradually we are negotiating with those borrowers. If they come up to our expectations or appetite level, we are retaining that exposure limits. However, wherever they are not comfortable, then we are reducing our exposure limits 40%, 30%, 50% like that. But we are continuing our dealing with them. That's the reason actually we are able to maintain our NIM at a 3. The last quarter sequentially, if you see that our NIM was 3.07. But year on year also, if you cumulative figure, if you take it, last year it was 2.95 and this year it is 3.05, 10 basis point up in the NIM. Whereas the industry has seen that there is a steep fall in the NIMs. Whereas we are successful in maintaining that. That is because only we focus more on the high yielding so rejigging and all, not just like that top line to show the top line growth, we are not compromising on the price. If you see the exact figures in the December quarter, the cost of deposit incremental increase is 8 basis point. Whereas the incremental yield on advances, incremental improvement is 11 basis point. Though you know that the March was very tough for rising the deposits, our cost of deposits have improved only 8 basis points. But our yield on advances has given us 11 basis points. That's why our NII also has improved. Our NIM is also improved in the fourth quarter. We are very constantly monitoring that matter.